Everything is backwards now. Okay, so I guess I should have got some water. Hello. Hi, Champagne. How are you? I'm just writing down some notes. Uh, live stream kept glitching earlier, so hopefully it'll go well. I'm just here for an live Aquarius rant. Hopefully I get a few guests. I'm gonna wait and see if you can hang on in with me. While you're waiting, maybe if you like, of course, you can open up another window and visit someone else while we see who comes in the room. I wish I was allowed to play music without being penalized. I like to listen to music on the weekend. What's going on in your world? Oh, yeah. It would be interesting to be able to boost my YouTube page up. This is really a challenge. Okay. Well, if you check it out, before I begin, I kind of typed some information in to give everybody a head start. In the chat, I, of course, have introduced myself and my channel. I didn't introduce myself, but you know me, Champagne. How you doing? Can you see me and hear me clearly? And are you on this YouTube? Are there a lot of people live? Because I'm not getting any notifications or anything of anybody, that's live or anything to be involved in. Just in a friend. Thank you. Okay. When I get on, thank you for the sound and with a visual check. And when I go over to Facebook, I will accept, of course, trying to build that social network up over there. Well, it shows it's another person watching. They just haven't said anything. And that's one of the things that people are reporting back to me. I don't know what to do about it, but that they're not getting the notifications when I make videos. People are talking about how they're being unsubscribed to me involuntarily. And so I guess because it takes the way it seems to me that YouTube works is based on the popularity of my content. And so people aren't finishing watching a video. So it's starting to, I guess, decrease my, I don't know, pool, I'll say, here on YouTube. And it looked like it's glitching again. Yeah, and so it's drastically falling. A lot of little things are happening. I'm watching on my analytics page, subscribers disappear, watch hours disappear, all kind of things. And I've heard other people complain of it. I haven't heard anybody complain of it recently, but I'm definitely going through it. but then it takes the support of the viewers and the subscribers, and the thumbs up and all those things really help. So hopefully in time it'll increase. If I'm doing something wrong, I'll find out what I'm doing wrong and can correct it. But like I said, I'm just here to, and it look like it's gonna start glitching again. Okay. What is it, starting to glitch again? That's why I wonder if there are a lot of people. What is this? I'll just be here for a little while to see if it's going to glitch. But this video is a Aquarius rant. And I was hoping that I could get some of my fellow Aquarians in the room so we can have a discussion. I have my own personal concerns, but of course I like the input of others. YouTube is one of them. But overall, life in general, I have some concerns because as I shared, and I've been sharing in my videos and live streams, I'm online in the search bar. Okay, thank you. That should help a little bit. I wonder, I just really have to learn my way around YouTube. Life is requiring for me to dive deeper and get more sophisticated, technologically more sophisticated. And so, let me see. I was talking about concerns, and that's what this live stream is about. Again, it's an Aquarius rant, therefore it's my concerns. Of course, this live stream opens up the opportunity for others to share their concern or to offer me some feedback to help me, get through overcome some of my life experiences and challenges. And so, as an amateur astrologer, as well as a tarot reader, and as well as diving into other stuff, I have seen this series of information that seems like it's instructing us who humanity, about what's taking place and why and where we're headed and where we're coming from, yada, yada, yada. And so I've been looking at this information relative to myself and seeing, like, at one time, the stars were saying, it's time for us to take account of our souls and what we really stand for and represent. If we couldn't figure that out on our own, then there would be people that would come into our lives. I call it the grand social mingle, in which they would mirror back to us or mimic to us who we are on a soul level. And it's so, like, currently it's about us really coming to understand who we are. And based on who we are, why we choose to do what we hi, Cassandra, how are you? It's free, but I'm not really reading cards. This is a rant, Aquarius rant, and I'm talking about some of my concerns and open up the platform for others to share about their concerns or issues, to have an opportunity to have some exchanges with other subscribers, And I'm talking about the astrological energies and stuff. I'm doing fine. How you doing? Good? Okay, I'm fine. Doing well. Working my way through life, as most of us are. And I was just ranting about the energies that we have been governing us, like, over the last year. And I was kind of recapping and seeing how it actually fits into my life. And as I speak of it, maybe you all can review and see how it's fitting into your lives and come to understand why certain things are happening in your life right now, why you may feel the way you feel. Like, from one of the things I identified was I went through all 12 zodiac signs in my end of May videos. I think it was May 20th and beyond, where I was talking about the passions and the fires. I identified through all 12 signs that each of our signs are responsible for witnessing something in particular and testifying to it. Hello, global mistress. How are you? Monet, global witness. No, global mistress Monet. Let's talk about suicide. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Monet. That is what I'm talking about. We can talk about suicide. Go ahead and open up the discussion as far as suicide. These are major issues and themes that we're dealing with, and that's why I opened up this platform for us to talk about these things. And again, I have these energies here that I have accumulated from reading over the last year, and it helps explain why we are where we are. and where we headed, what's being asked of us, those kind of things. And so when you really start earlier, when I did the live stream, someone was talking about their friend, I think her girlfriend had committed suicide a month or so back, how that person was suffering. And so, of course, on this live stream, I would say to anybody that's watching now or later, get some help. Get some help. You're not the only one feeling the stress and the anxiety of life. You're not the only one let down or disappointment. You're not the only one suffering from fears or worries. And yes, it can be overwhelming, but there is a platform here, Can Angels Fly Tarot, in which you can always come to and, say, hey, I need some help. Hey, go live. Let's talk. We can do this and we can work some things out. But of course, get professional help if not, if necessary. You see that you are in a dangerous place. Suicide. I have, of course, been to the brink of wanting to commit suicide myself. And why? Why? A lot of people want to know why. Issue for me was that I was overwhelmed with life. I carried a great deal of responsibility, a lot of what I've been talking about here on YouTube. And it felt like I had no way out, no way out. Another thing that I realized was that my personal hopes and ambitions and dreams were lost. I've been talking about that recently because I've seen those kind of things coming up in the energies, and I'm recognizing it around me, not only myself, but people at large, and how a lot of what we have gone through in life, and everybody's lives are so different. We've all had different experiences. We've all had different upbringings. We've all had different experiences in our soulmate connections. We're looking for the twin flame, and it seems to elude us most of the time. We think we have it, and then we find out we don't, and it's devastating. Or someone dear in our lives, or significant in our lives, passes, or even maybe suffer with some type of chronic illness or something. Karma is something that I wanted to talk about now, as I'm talking about the suicide, but karma, is another element. I want to finish this statement about karma, suicide, that again, the pressures, the disappointment, the hopelessness, I understand where it comes from. I've been there. And how was I able to overcome it? Well, one of the ways that I overcame it was I went through the church. You hear me talk about that here on YouTube. And I made my way here through my studies at church. And it started making this insane, crazy life make sense. And so what I'm saying is that there are some answers. Are they the answers that we want? No, but it kind of makes, again, the insanity make sense. And Cassandra shares, my brother committed suicide, and I think his girlfriend knew that he was hanging himself while at the time. I just want closure. Why he did it? Was she the reason? I'm sure there is more, but just can't think of it. Well, let me say this. From my perspective, is the only way that I can share from my experiences and my perspective. Suicide. Had I been successful in committing suicide, whose fault would it have been? It would have been mine. Now, I can say that there were a lot of contributory factors to my emotional state, but who's responsible for my emotional state overall? Myself. So what am I saying? And I'm not trying to be heartless, but the truth of the matter is your brother and any other person that commits suicide, even if it had to do with me, we are the governors. We are the authority figures in our life. We are to safeguard our emotions, our physical bodies. We're responsible for ourselves. We're our own stewards. And yes, others make powerful impacts upon us. And it's difficult. I admit it is difficult to like say let go, like you brought up his girlfriend. She may have known, she may not have, I'm just throwing out a scenario, gave a care, like whatever, do it, or just not giving over to his demands or whatever. And he could have just been pleading, just a scenario, pleading for her love, her respect, her commitment, or, contribution, whatever the case may be. And she just wasn't seeing it because she had the right to express herself the way she wanted to express herself. Your brother had some options, and unfortunately, that is the route he chose. And but there are other options. Staying with that scenario, not saying that was their scenario, but in that scenario, you can say, hey, your brother could have said, hey, all right, this is not going well with my significant other. And that's when we pick up in the tarot and stuff where it says a relationship has outlived itself, and we have to muster up the courage and the strength to overcome. Again, I've been there, so I'm not being critical. I understand and take a responsibility for my shortcomings, the inability to release. Yeah, go ahead. Do I think he's in heaven? I ain't being funny. Really, the one thing, that's why I opened up the Patreon page, because I want to go deep. But I'll give you a clue to where I am as far as heaven and hell. I think heaven and hell exist here on this earth, and currently humanity overall, are creating a hell state on this planet. And in the future, if we don't stop, it's going to be a real hellish place for those that reincarnate here. I have come to believe, I've grown. I've come to believe over maybe a 5 or 6 year period in reincarnation. Number one, I had never heard of it because I was brought up in the church. But after I heard of it, first I didn't vibe well with it, but I've continued to study and study and study. And it has brought me to this understanding that reincarnation exists. And my belief in reincarnation is based on I learned in my studies, higher education, the whole thing, gamut, is that energy does not die. It does not dissipate. It's just redirected or transformed. And so do I believe he's in heaven? No. Do I believe he's in hell? No. I believe that he voluntarily transformed his energy. And I think there is also karma. You spoke of karma. I think karma is we can say as mediocre as us making a decision on this earth to date somebody, and then has a karmic effect, whatever it will be. That since you chose to date them, or you chose to work at a particular job, so there's a karmic effect that's very mediocre. But then there is this massive, I'll call it this universal karma, which says, okay, your brother interrupted his life midstream. We look at it as midstream, that he interrupted his life, but his clock was already set. That's how I think of it, but who am I? So what am I saying? If say, for instance, he did execute the power of interrupting the process, his learning process, there are still things yet that he has to learn. So even though he may have released himself from his body, his physical body, energy that he's transformed over into will still continue to move forward, and he will address the issues or concerns or learn the lessons that he needs to learn, but in another body. Whether he reincarnates into another physical body, transform over into the wind just to hear, and do the air. I do believe he's still amongst us. I think we all stay amongst each other and can have continued for existence. I do believe. Yeah, so existence. So I hope that kind of helped you. My condolences to you, of course. And remember, your brother was a steward of his own life as we are. And we get to make our choices. And so it did. Thank you. Okay. Very good. Yep. Just keep your head up and understand he's still going on to thank you for the hearts and the love. Now, we're talking about life and how it's making an impact on us. Our individual lives are a portion of the collective, the overall. We all are inputting into this stuff we are experiencing, the good, the bad, the ugly, that which makes us happy and sad. We're all contributing. And so that's why, like last year, I think it was, the stars were saying, hey, I think the stars are God writing into the sky a message to humanity. I think that we didn't know how to read it for a very long time. Now we're learning to interpret it and therefore communicate with God or be communicated with from God. And when it was saying, hey, take account of your soul, your spirit. I was doing some research on the generational planets. This is a rant, so I'm all over the place, y'all. Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. And when I was looking over those generational planets, and I'm still doing my research, but I identified that during a particular time period that Saturn, the planet Saturn, the keeper of karma, he takes account of what should be the result, the karma, was looking at our dealings, our deeds in this world since like 2011, I think it is. And so I was looking at the timeline of events on Wikipedia, every year since 2011, and the majority of the we're going to say the highlighted dealings or deeds in this earth were really, really negative. There were very few. So what are going to be the karmic results of our choices, from wars and blighting the earth and different things like that? Well, we have an example in Hawaii taking place, of how the earth is going to respond and how it is going to have effect on people. And so it's really been about changing our state if we desire. We can do what the heck we want to. We got free will. It's up to us. Again, this is Aquarius Rant, so I'm just everywhere. And I'm about to turn and start speaking about my life relative to these energies. I've also shared here on YouTube that we have entered into a new paradigm, a new world. I know y'all have heard it before, a new world order. So now we're moving into this new paradigm. And so that's what my, Patreon page is about, diving deep. And that's what I'll do for the long haul. I'll be diving deep over there. But for right here, right now, I'm just going over these energies because what does it mean to be in a new paradigm? What does the new paradigm consist of? The new paradigm is a set of new rules for this earth and how to live and how to reside in it, what's expected of you in order to be considered successful. We just left a paradigm. I think it was May 15th, 2018. It just happened. Y'all always hear me. It's like watching paint dry. What am I saying? What do I mean when I say it's like watching paint dry? You don't even see the transition from one experience to another to the next. The old paradigm. Do any of y'all have any idea what the old paradigm was? That which existed, our deeds, the rules, or anything? Just throw me one out relative to the old paradigm, the old world. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you some clues to what created our old paradigm that we were up under. It started, I want to say about 1929. Now I'm still talking about these generational planets of Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. We had the Holocaust. We had, what was some other stuff I was looking at? I read so much. The Holocaust was one of them. The Great Depression was another. Coming out of the Great Depression, entering into is the word, I like the word, was leonine living of extravagance, and then they had the 1960s peace and love, fighting against the Vietnam War. All of these things contributed to the old paradigm which we were in, as well as to where we are now and will be in the near future. So the old paradigm. Check out the old paradigm. What were the roots to the old paradigm? Many, it depends on how old you are, but you probably got a sense of it. And the old paradigm clue is when I make videos called Once Upon a Time and the Happily Ever After. Y'all been hearing me talk a lot about that because that's where we got this vision in our minds that we can, especially women, it was the Sleeping Beauty and with some more of them Cinderella kind of things where we thought as little girls, we would grow up. Many of us grew up, meet a mate, get married, and have children, buy a house, a car. We work, we die warmly in our beds in our 80s or 90s. It was this dream state, and that the world will be peaceful, everybody will be fed, yada, yada, yada. And that was the ultimate utopia dream. But what ended up happening, Paradise Lost, is that, yes, we did unite with someone special in our lives. Many of them ended up in divorce. This is the old paradigm. And then created split families, single mothers. We had the whole drug scene. I did a video, I don't even know the name of the video, this was a while back, where I covered the epidemic and the history of drugs and its impact upon humanity, and how it has affected our ability to be present in the moment and to deal with the issues at hand, as well as dove us over into various spiritual dimensions that we aren't ready to handle. And so all of these things are a part of the old paradigm, whether we know it or not. Now think about how it was, 10 years ago, depending, of course, how old you are. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it wasn't quite as scary as now. I remember 10, 15 years ago, I would be riding around in the middle of the night, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, going to the club or going to the casino or leaving from over a friend's house. The car door wouldn't even be locked. I wasn't even worried about it. And I live in Detroit. But I noticed in the last couple of years, wherever I've gone, I would, well, now I'm not driving, but like if I'm riding with somebody, we locking the door. Me, I'm in before it get dark. I'm around my premises, so we subconsciously knew that things were changing is what I'm saying. And what was changing was the paradigm was beginning to shift. And so, and back to the suicide, it's always been an issue, and it's the stresses of life, again, that can lead a person to hopelessness to the point they feel like that's their only way out. That was already an issue. Now entering into this new paradigm, we need to be on our P's and Q's. We need to get whatever help. That's why I think it's so important for us to know what we're entering into. When I was reading the stars the other day, it actually seems like it was saying that this world is going to be as it is, the way we see it visually, the way we perceive it. It's the world, it's life. And, it can be very beautiful, but the undertone is going to be possibly very ugly and challenging. And so that's what I'm saying. We need to be prepared. The old paradigm had divorcees. There were a few people, of course, that lived, 30, 40 years and 50 years together happily and had their happily ever after. But that wasn't the majority. I'm talking about the majority of what people were experiencing in their lives. Broken relationships, broken promises. It was hard to save. Some people, of course, did buy their houses. We had, when it came to red house, I'm talking about the real stuff. When we had, especially in the black community, it was redlining where African Americans couldn't buy property in certain areas. So it still showed that some segregation still existed and different stuff like that. And so we were living in that old paradigm and we grew accustomed to it and we worked our way around it. Please like, thumbs up, that helps to strengthen my channel. I do think thumbs up. So yeah, thumb up. And so we got to where some people married three, four times, never giving up on love three, four times, buying houses. Another thing that happened, and see, it's been a couple of paradigm shifts. The last one we weren't even around for, most of us. The majority of us weren't around, because a person born with 1929 might be about 91 years old or something like that. I don't know, just coming off the top of my head. So many of us weren't even alive for the last paradigm shift. But the last paradigm shift came from like slavery and all that stuff. See, we don't think that, many of us don't think that astrology is real, or that tarot is capable of helping us meditate to figure out what's going on and to get some answers. But the stuff is real. Yes, I posted under entertainment for legal purposes, but I actually believe in it, and I study it in detail along with history. Many of you may know I'm an art historian. Yeah. So going back, even before then, the old paradigm was you could own people. If we were pillaging the earth, all that kind of stuff. And so the karma, going back to karma, for all that stuff we did in the early 1800s up until, like, we're going to say 1920, brought us to this place, like technologically advances. That's the karma, and it's so deep, it's so layered. It's a net. It's literally a net that we can't see it. We can't see the beginning or the end of the karma or what's being taken account. When I say karma, it's also an order, like a divine order being put in place for that which is to come. So you think about early 1900s, how big businesses came up, like Sears. What was it? Sears and Roebucks or something. We had J.C. Penney's, Wranglers. I'm just trying to think of very old companies that came up, and how big business began, to expand. All this stuff relates and has brought us up to where we are now. The account is being taken. And so where do we go from here? Well, we're here. We're in the new paradigm as of May 15th, 2018. And so now, what are the rules that apply to the new paradigm? Well, we got to look back. It used to be a long time ago that it was popular to have large families. People would have 10, 12, 15 kids. Why? They had people to work the fields in order to harvest more, in order to have more to sell, to feed, build the houses, to seed to the land, It was popular. But a part of this new paradigm is self-egotistic expression into the world, narcissistic behavior. What am I saying? Now we're not into having large families. Why? It costs too much. It costs too much. We don't need the family to help us build a house. No, we go buy one that's already prefabricated, or we build it from the ground up and we hire a company. So these are clues to where the new paradigm is taking us. Number one, it's not going to be cool to have a large family. Is it in China or something like that where they limit the person to one or two children? See, that's going to be a global law. You won't be overpopulating the earth. You won't be having a bunch of kids. There won't be welfare assistance or anything like that. So you got to be able to work to take care of the members in your family. Then we also have this other thing that has come up, and it's about sexuality. Now, homosexuality, I do believe, is normal, but there is a broad liberation of sexuality. I guess you can't help who you love. So what am I saying? That is a part of the new paradigm. We're not going back. Pandora's box is open. We're going to move forward. So now, like, especially in the Black community, there seems to be a shortage of men for various reasons. But overall, biblically, it said in the final days, there'll be at least 7 women to 1 man. So the ratio has a real big gap. So think about the new paradigm. with that ratio of 7 women to 1 man, what that's going to do to relationships. Hmm? These are the kind of things that are defining um, the new paradigm to the chat. I know this is so off subject, but do you know if there's going to be males or any females try and ruin my marriage? Well, Cassandra, what did you see what I'm talking about right here? We're in a new paradigm. And the new paradigm as far as relationships. Now, one thing we have going on here, we have multiple paradigms being lived out simultaneously, meaning there are people that still adhere to the old paradigm of loyalty and longevity and partnerships. But then there are those that are residing or living now through the new paradigm, which says all you got to do is be honest and upfront with a person. If you are cheating, be like, I don't feel the kind of way again toward you, or not you. I'm just saying in general how the conversations go relative to relationships in a new paradigm is the only thing they're supposed to do. The higher expression of a person under a new paradigm is to just be honest with you. But they also have to live in integrity, meaning they have to be true to themselves. If they feel like they need to go out and spread their wild oats, then they will, But then again, there are others. And see, I don't know your significant other, neither do I know you. But I'm going to say, if you both are still living in the old paradigm and that way of thinking, and you believe in that committed one-to-one relationship, committed, the longevity, working together, then ain't nobody going to come your way. That was the mindset of the time. But if either of you have transitioned over into this consciousness of only thing you got to do is be open with a person, highest expression, you don't have to, but highest expression to say, I want to be in an open relationship, or we have something that's been fairly new over the last decade, and that's like being on a download, that kind of thing. Just let them know you're on a download, that you prefer sexual relations with 2 people. And so what I'm talking about is this paradigm that exists. And for you and anyone else, it depends the partners. I mean, the parties. You're a party, your husband is a party. What mindset are they in? You know what I'm saying? Are you in? And you'll execute that which you believe in. You always hear me talk about that on YouTube here. Your beliefs govern your thoughts and therefore your actions. So it's really, if you're wondering about that, then it's time to really have a conversation, just Lucy, with your husband to see where his mind is, where his beliefs are. And then also to have that same conversation kind of with yourself to see what you're in line with, what you're in tune with, that if that makes sense to you. Now, back to these energies, because I'm concerned, because I look at myself through the old paradigm. I was one of those ones that believe in the happily ever after. I was this princess, and I was going to meet my knight in shining armor, and we were going to get together, get us a little college with a white picket fence, and have us some children. And you're welcome, and we're going to live happily ever after. I went after that. Once upon a time, happily ever after was destroyed. And so I worked through that. And at the time, back then, I did not know, I remind you, this is Aquarius Rant, that paradigms were shifting and new worlds were being established based on our who, me, yours, and everybody in humanity's deeds. I didn't know that then. And so now I come to this place where the old paradigm is perishing, is being deconstructed. And it's interesting to me from as far as my life that I'm hitting a plateau where a lot of changes are happening in my life at the same time of this paradigm shift, the deconstruction of the old way. The messed up part about it, I almost cuss, is that my mind is still governed by the previous paradigm. I still believe in meeting that knight in shining armor. I still believe in being the princess. I still want to be married. I got all the children. I don't need no more children. But I understand they need governing as young adults. So, and I still want to live, be married and committed for the long haul until the day I die when I'm old and 90 years old, dying warmly in my bed. I still had a paradigm. I still want to work. I still want to build. I still believe in big family and reunions and family and party and da 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 and walking the whole life experience together. Issue is for me, the new paradigm does not agree with anything I believe in. So that's why it's an Aquarius rant, because my concern is where am I relative to this world and this new paradigm? Now, I talked about in one of my videos about the purge, purging old beliefs out, purging, but your beliefs also that which you gravitate to, which you focus on, which you pay attention to, those beliefs, those doctrines and stuff, you pay attention to and you connect with and you are willingly embodied because it actually is a reflection of your soul. I'm all over the place. This is a rant. When I did those videos talking about the passions are burning, I remember that when I did Aries, remember I was talking about how each of our signs is responsible for witnessing and testifying to a particular issue or concern that is faced or that exists in our physical world. And so I remember when I was doing Aries, it was talking about Aries as a leader. They are responsible for witnessing or living out being a leader and receiving all the benefits and accolades associated with being a leader. But at the same time, this was the downfall of it. They got all these responsibilities that they're supposed to fulfill as a leader. They are somewhat to lose themselves in the all or the collective or the others because they are a representation of a multitude. But what the issue is globally is, and on the individual level, that many of our leaders aren't competent or are corrupt. And I bring that up because that is what's going over into the new paradigm. That's what's going over into the new paradigm. All of those things that I saw when I was reading for May 20th, 2018 and beyond, and those videos that were entitled The Passions Burn, are that which each sign is a witness to, or they govern over, a witness to, and a testifier to the corruptness or the faults in this earth that are defining our current and upcoming paradigm. That was pretty hard. Like Aquarius is. This is an Aquarius rant. I identified that Aquariuses have to experience, therefore are witnesses, to social issues. Whether those social issues exist within a small social network unit, the siblings, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, the people from the neighborhood or community. Now that's Gemini mostly, but that's the Gemini energy through Aquarius. Geminis report something else. Libras report something else, but it is about socialization. Aquarius is, we're responsible for the, coming to have the experience in order to be able to testify to the social issues that exist in our intimate sphere, or one-to-one connected with another in the contracts and stuff, like unbalanced contracts, people breaching contracts, all those kind of things. So that explains a lot of why we are experiencing what we're experiencing as Aquariuses. You are a witness. And then Aquarius, the world at large, global social interactions. And are those interactions fair? Are people entering terms and conditions and others fulfilling them? Are we accepting? Are we entering contracts knowing we can't fulfill what's being asked of us? The experiences that we are having, because Aquarius have some crazy experiences. And personally, I'm an Aquarius. Many of the issues or concerns that I've had have to do with socialization. And that's what the stars were saying. Then it was like Libra. Libra had to do with losing oneself over to another, I do believe. I think as a witness to that experience, what is it like to lose yourself over to another? Think about it. Everybody's experiences are different. Everybody's experience is not negative. Um, Again, we who humanity were always the scales, the decision makers to how this life would be at any given time, especially in the future. So, Libras, all the Libras across the world could have had great experiences with others where they could be vulnerable, give themselves over to others. But many of us found out through our Libra energy that if you lose yourself in another, they can manipulate you, they can control you, they can devastate your emotional state. They can take advantage of you. I mean, all these negative things were what we did as individuals in humanity, which shows who we are as people. And who we are as people is making our karma, our future. I'm saying here on YouTube, our future is here. It has begun. As of May 15, 2018, it's begun. So, what am I saying? We can look forward in a new paradigm. Is that to give yourself over to another is something that may very well result in manipulation, people breaching the contract with you, or they're not fulfilling their promises, or not contributing, or not fulfilling their obligations. In social issues at large, what has been the issue socially? We, going back to Aquarius' contribution to coming to understand who we are as people, as humanity, therefore inferring our future experiences in this new paradigm, is Aquarius is saying, okay, these are the results of social issues. Here we have racism and different things like this. All of this is really, really serious. Y'all want to know what's happening in your personal lives? Well, here it is. This is what it's really about. And as I spoke of about Aries, Aries is a representation of what it means to be a leader. And leaders could have been awesome. They could have did intense studies, did intense negotiations, really earned their popularity and their accolades and their wealth and all these kind of things. But what we found that a lot of our leaders were corrupt, and some of them lacked competency. That is, the Aries is a witness and a testifier to that is what humanity is, and therefore is a, what's the word I use? Infers what our leaders will be like in the new paradigm. But this is the catch, the double slick, that the world that we're entering into is going to look just as tantalizing, as beautiful as it always has been, as I've mentioned. But the undertone is going to be quite unattractive and unsupportive to our existence. And so, like I said, this is Aquarius Rant, and I'm really concerned for myself, as well as others. What are we going to do entering into a new paradigm? Like I said, I'm stuck in the old paradigm. So that whole system is being deconstructed now. So actually, it'll be like some people will be in a void, swimming around, it seems like in a circle. I know a lot of what I talk about seems dark and bleak, but I'm just reading what I learned, what I'm seeing, upon interpretation. But it's better to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Can we make this transition? Can we bridge or jump over that gap between what was and what is? Soulmate connections. I began to speak some about the soulmate connections relative to Cassandra's um, question. We have various soulmate connections. I have a live stream. One of my earlier live streams went over all the various soulmate connections that exist that I could muster up, and all the dynamics of those contracts will change as well. Those soulmate connections will change. Why is it changing? Because we're going to have to learn some new stuff, because we are falling far from grace, I'll say. So the whole dynamics are going to change. Relationships are going to change. How we define love is going to be changing. Another part I've been talking about is technological advancements, how we have technologically advanced. Y'all, this is something that you can't deny, is that technology has decreased work, work opportunities. Robotics has taken over in a lot of various fields, and therefore it has decreased job opportunities or positions. And what am I saying? That change is a part of the new paradigm. How do you fit into this new paradigm? What job are you going to have? What do you have to contribute to the world that a computer can't do, or a robot cannot do? And so we're really going to, the new paradigm says, okay, if you want to be gainfully employed, if you want to be able to sustain yourself free of any, I think the government is what I'm speaking of, is looking at possibly creating what do they call it? It's not so much considered welfare, because now it has to do with a mass amount of people. It's called like a universal income. Everybody gets a piece of the pie in order to sustain themselves, because they know realistically it's not enough jobs or positions for people. Why? Because technology has taken over. So we have to understand that that's a part of the new paradigm. What jobs are hot in the new paradigm? Either you got to be able to sell yourself and your intellectual property, or you have to be able to know how to sustain these various forms of technology in some way, or the medical field, that kind of thing. Because even teachers are being replaced, part of the new paradigm. And so again, I'm concerned about my well-being, because how do I fit in that? I went to school and got a degree as an art historian. It wasn't doing nothing for me in the old paradigm. What is it going to do for me in the new paradigm? I can get here on this here laptop, and all the things that I studied during my studies in art history, I can go right here online and tap into the Louvre, tap into the Vatican, and do all St. Peter's, all those things that I studied right here online, give you a description of it all. Other than being maybe an archaeologist, to go dig up some remains somewhere to study an ancient culture, what is this degree going to do for me? As mentioned, it already wasn't doing nothing for me in the old paradigm. But here it is again in the new paradigm, it's an issue. And so right now we're okay. We are okay. We have our federal and government jobs and our little superficial jobs at various institutions and restaurants and corporations. But as you see, a lot of things are closing down, even major chains. And why is that? Because major chains like Target and Walmart and that are falling away or giving way to what? Online shopping. And then that's a new part of the new paradigm. That's what I know that sometimes I don't make my topics clear, but what I'm talking about is moving into the new paradigm. And I'm talking about my and your existence going into this new paradigm. Forewarned is forearmed. You, me, we can prepare. It's a way. The Purge. I made the video talking about The Purge and how old systems were being purged, how old people that or fated encounters that we once had were being purged out of our life. You think about these movies that they make, if you really think about them, and I hear it on YouTube all the time, talking about they show everything in the movies. And when I saw this purge, I was like, show enough. They showed the purge from a whole different perspective. Nonetheless, it is a purge. Now, I don't know how deep that purge is going to go. I hope it don't go to where the movie was and we get this one night to kill everybody up we don't like, because I will be in trouble. I'm telling you, I will be in trouble. But the truth of the matter is we are currently undergoing a purge of our uh, rotting or decaying emotions that are within us, that are limiting us, a purge of old outdated beliefs, a purge of old relationships. And as we purge, we're also given the opportunity to connect with the familiar spirits. I've been talking about this stuff is real, y'all. Connect with familiar spirits. What does it mean to be in association or in intimate connection with a familiar spirit? Somebody that understands you, somebody that's ready to ride or die for whatever cause you to share in believing, and so that's where we are. Um, Other issues that we need to look at, and especially people with young children now, is that what's this, the uh, tech generation, children. Again, I guess we don't really have much concern for it because we feel like we're okay now. But I have to say this, that in my research, I saw that in about 7 to 8 years, we won't even be able to um, um, recognize our world. So we okay now. But just think about it, 7 to 8 years. In 7 years, it'd be 2025. That sounds so futuristic. It does. But 7 years, what were you doing 7 years ago? 7 years ago, I was 41. I was still able to turn up and, you know, hang out and stuff a little bit, pop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, and get back up. 7 years have passed. I still can pop it like it's lukewarm and maybe get up half the time, something like that. But my whole point is that wasn't a lot of time. And these next 7 years is not going to be a lot of time. So what am I saying? Most likely, you and I will be alive, unless it's just not in our cards to be here. But even if we're not here, there is a chance that we may recycle and reincarnate back into this place. But this place is going to have a whole new facade to it. And the undertone seems to be something that will be undesirable. So now I'm speaking about the kids, because the kids that are alive now and whom are to come will be entering this new paradigm. That'll be all they know. It'll be all they know. So what will be like in the old paradigm, the one I came from, you had to know how to construct the whole sentence. You had to know all the parts of it, where to put the what you call them, the punctuations, all that kind of stuff. You had to know how to write a full letter. You had to know how to address the envelope. You had to know how to go to the library and look up an index to do any research. New paradigm, none of that is necessary. We have texting and emojis. This is the language of the new generation that fits into the new paradigm. It's like saying, if you ain't hip, you left behind. And what does it mean to be left behind? That's a major concern, and to be left behind suggests that, especially economically, that many of us won't be able to sustain the lifestyles we've grown accustomed to. So that's why I'm making this video, because we have to be ready. We have to prepare ourselves. Well, we don't have to. Any individual doesn't have to prepare to make our way over to the new paradigm and to live according to those rules that structure the new paradigm, this current paradigm. Does that paradigm have to continue to move forward with the tone that I have suggested? No. However, the rules that apply to this new paradigm will be in place. But it's up to us collectively and on an individual level to tweak those the rules to the paradigm. But of course, it's up to us. Then we have other technological advances that are happening. We can look at the medical field, really important. We have pacemakers and they doing all this brain, what do you call it when you mapping, brain mapping and infusing and I can't think of the term I'm trying to come up with, but all these transplant plants with 3D model parts and grown in labs. All of these things are going to change medical. It's probably going to most likely start to increase the cost because now we're talking about for real life sustaining, life lengthening procedures. And so who gets it? So all of these things are of major concern to me. Not only am I individual life, and I'm going into becoming soon and very soon, I'll be a senior. Hello, how are you, Alor? How are you? I'm just up here having an Aquarius rant, doing a little fussing and cussing, because y'all know that's what I do. And it is about where we're going, because we just left the old paradigm, and I don't think we are aware of what it means to leave the old paradigm and to have entered into the new paradigm. I think we feel like we are okay. Life is going to be as it is, but it appears based on, thank you, what I have been witnessing, especially here on YouTube and the churches and everything, is that we are blind and we can't see. And yes, it sounds negative. I don't know. I don't have a sugar, I guess, but we need to be aware of what's transpiring. And we also need to look at, we're right now, we're in the middle of taking a look back at our purpose as individuals, our purpose collectively, humanity, where we're going. Again, talking about the rules to the new paradigm and finding out if we fit into it, and understanding that if we don't make the transition, if we don't understand what we're going into, we're going to be what do you call it? Sideswiped. We're going to feel like we're sideswiped. Let's see, to the chat. It has been very difficult for me, but my strength has enhanced as well. Very good, very good. Just working some things out. When you say your strength has been enhanced, are we talking about physical strength? And due to what? Because I've been talking about the video I made the other day. You were on the live earlier talking about the Daughters of Bliss, how we are in need of recovery. And that's a whole nother thing, that the Daughters of Bliss are moving from this old paradigm, and we're already in a new paradigm, and mentally getting strong. That's very, very good. Very good. You have to be sensitive and patient with yourself and forgiving. We all need to do that and understand. That's what I'm kind of talking about is, we've been wounded, whether physically or mentally or spiritually or psychologically. Women I was talking to primarily, but it's all of us, have been wounded one way or another. And so right now, I know people got to feel that something is going on, but can't identify it. Number one, we're standing on this cusp. We ain't even in the cusp area now, but we were in a cusp where we were, ascended from the pain as women. Exactly. And we as women are being prompted to ascend from the pain as women. Then we've traveled across this cusp and entered into this new paradigm, and it has a new set of rules. All these things are going on. The old paradigm that we believed in, that structure gave us our beliefs and structure our way of thinking, and therefore acting and performing, is given away. It's being deconstructed. So like, we actually, many women especially, are feeling like they're hanging in suspense somewhere, and probably don't understand where this what is it? What do they call it? Zero gravity place is. We like being in suspense, like the hangman card. But regardless, although we may have had that hangman moment, that time period, the hangman's turned upside down, and we got to move forward. But that's why I think this live stream is so important. We have to understand what we're moving forward from, and what we're dealing with. And it's for men as well, but I just noticed that my primary audience or population on my channel are women. So I just decided to start speaking to the women, especially after the experiences I've had in the last couple of weeks. And I've had people today in this live stream, this one and the one earlier, talk about people that have committed suicide. And thank you so much. Hi, Cherry. How are you this evening? Oh, my goodness, girl. We need to chat. I've been having medical issues for a while, and doctors just keep blowing me off. Is there anything you can tell me to help? Y'all got to watch my videos. Now, Cherry, I was just talking about, did you watch my, I was just talking about it, my Daughters of Bliss, the video? That's the answer you're looking for. Daughters of Bliss video. I made it yesterday, I do believe. And that's what I'm talking about. And now where I am now, because all of my videos are connected. They are in sequence just about. I know you just right. I see you. You know. Okay. Well, make sure you take the time to watch it, because it's going to address it. And you'll find when you watch that video, you recognize you are not alone. Trust me, you are not alone. And I explain in that video what's taking place right here and doing this live stream. I'm talking about also what's taking place around us to create our reality, in which we're having these medical issues within. I'm talking about the environmental part outside of us now. In that video, I'm talking about what's taking place on the inside and what needs to be dealt with. Here, environmental. And I was just saying that we are like the hangman, hanging in suspense, because we're going through this. We're dealing with these wounds. We have these unaddressed issues and wounds that exist that we've been carrying forever, that we couldn't put down because we had too much invested, whether it was children, a house, a marriage, whatever we were building, or we were in the midst of building. It was like building something and not the construction of that thing not being fully realized, but you got so much invested, like children, that you can't just walk away from it, and so we carried it. And so I talk about that in that Daughters of Bliss video, and talking about the effects it has had on us as women primarily. And also, while we were doing all that, the world has been undergoing karmic changes, and so it's coming to realize what's been taking place on the outside of us as well, and all of this force on people, primarily women. I'm suggesting, based on what is being shared with me from viewers, is that some people are committing suicide. Some people are falling into depression. Why does the depression exist? Talk about the depression. I already talked about the suicide. The depression exists because people feel like they don't have any control. It's a lack of control. And all of that plays back into what I was ranting about, talking about the 12 signs of the zodiac being witnesses to the issues or concerns that make up the state of our souls on an individual level, and how, as individuals, we contribute to the collective consciousness. Y'all know, y'all heard that. The collective consciousness. And again, we're now in the collective consciousness under this new paradigm, this new world. How do you fit in? How do you move forward? Do we keep on limping on through this? And saying here, and what I'm arguing is that no, we don't have to keep moving forward in those manners, but that we can come to understand what we're dealing with, why it's happening, and what we can do to better ourselves and to change what's happening, or to rock with it, whatever we gonna do. Yes, my hubby friend just committed suicide. Funerals tomorrow. So overall, I done heard that about 4 or 5 times in the last 2 days. That is insane. Again, people are suffering their individual pressures. Plus, the pressures of the world are pressing in. It's really disheartening. I have to let y'all know again, this is an Aquarius rant. I got a monkey on my back I'm trying to knock off, but this is so disheartening. I know that my channel here is about reading tarot, and I enjoy reading tarot because it helps us to dive deep and to be able to meditate, to come up with some answers. But what I've noticed in my time here on YouTube, now the people I've dealt with in my immediate environment know me, and they know I'm very serious and sober, minded. And so when I have worked with them even before YouTube, we was getting down to business. I have people around me that through my skills and my abilities, they have been raised up in the world, literally. And so they know I'm about my business. But here on YouTube, I have to present it as entertainment for legal purposes. But the truth of the matter is, this is what I do, and I have an interest in it. Why? Because it's my life. And I have an interest in it because other people's lives are at stake here. And that's what I'm trying to say. We're not taking it serious. We are not taking it serious. A lot of this evidence has been kept from us for generations, and now it is being released. I heal souls. It seems like that might be my calling. And I'm not even one that's going to fake the funk. I got a whole bunch of wounds and issues, but I've been constantly attending to them. But it seems like, I ain't going to say nothing. I'm going to say, it seems like as soon as I get one addressed, it's something else. And then there's something else. But then I have to look back at that I'm an Aquarius, and I'm here to be a witness to and to testify about socialization. And many of the issues I deal with are on a social nature, of a social nature. It's interesting. It's crazy. And since tarot is the gateway, it is. You're a maze of balls. Thank you. Yeah, tarot is a gateway. It really is. And it's not a gateway per se. And I'm not knocking what you said, Sherry, but just for those that may be watching, some people think it's hocus pocus and voodoo and stuff like that. Now, it might be some connections or correlations in some way, not that I've dealt with it, but tarot is a gateway. What is the gateway for me, now that you bring up that term? Is that I don't know you intimately, you don't know me intimately, but together the tarot allows me and you, or me and a client, to explore, that which exists in this universe, because ain't nothing new. I know y'all done heard this before. Ain't nothing new under the sun. So we get to explore together and to bring a person's reality, their experience on a table between me and them, so that we can, go through that meditation process. It's pretty cool. Definitely know my stuff. Thank you. I mean, because I've been in search for forever. And I told you, it was this time where I realized all of this was a 1,000-piece puzzle that had been thrown up in the air, and somebody said, now go find it. Go find it. Go put it together. It'll take a lifetime. It will take a lifetime. That's why, unfortunately, our governmental systems have put in place institutions and programming and all these various things to scatter our consciousness and our awareness, so we won't come together and focus. Because if we came together and focused, that means we all could work together. Everybody pick up a piece of puzzle. You can only pick up the piece of puzzle that you know about and put that together. So when you hear me talk, you be like, shoot, I got the other part. And here we go. And that's why I opened up the Facebook page so that whoever comes over there and befriends me on Facebook, you have a platform to put the information that you've learned in this world on the table, so somebody else can link it together. Because we got to start linking this stuff together a little quicker. We got to start making it make more sense. What I've noticed for real is that people have become very, very desensitized mentally. Unaware, emotionally desensitized. And I'm saying this is the making of the people that are within a new paradigm, if that makes sense. The stuff is real. And I know to a lot of people, I seem very negative, dark, but this is the reality of our world. And what I'm seeing, even in my intimate sphere, there are people that they'll tell me, or that know me, be like, I can't deal with not having the fantasy of knowing it's okay. They can't rant about me. I'm so evil. Why you evil? Cat told, why you so evil? Are you? I don't know you. Let me know. Share. Anywho. And so, you threw me off, Cato. You might just be evil. Now I got to get back on my rant because I was getting good and heated and started fussing and cussing because that's what I want to do right now. How do you move forward in this new paradigm? How do I move forward in this new paradigm? Because in a new paradigm, see, paradigms also have to deal with your culture, and it deals with the culture. An example is what I'm saying. You can see, obviously, I'm an African American, and I'm an African American female that is obese. So there are what they call it, stigmas, or what's the word when somebody sticks you in a box. And so, new paradigm. I'm on isolation now, getting high. Oh, okay. I reformed. So I ain't gonna knock it. Does anybody else get high? I started to blow one the other day, but I was like, no, because when I blow, my mind be out there, and then I told you I went to sign up to go see a psychologist yesterday when I went to physical therapy, and one of the questions on there was, asked what kind of drugs did I take. They asked about marijuana. I was like, reformed. I just reformed. Pill popping. Not lately, So, but I bring it up because when I do toke, I get high. I be on cloud 99 and a half. Can't find my way back down. Then, that was another thing they asked, do you hear voices? Only if I smoke marijuana. You know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden, all the heavenly beings start talking to me, and they want to tell me everything, and I have to sit there and deal with whatever they got to tell me, and I can't shut them up until I come off cloud 99 and a half. So, hey, Lord, you say you getting high too? Oh, Lord, y'all making me miss it. I ain't got a drink, a smoke. I'm clean. I'm a virgin, y'all. I'm a virgin, tell you the truth. So, well, we gotta see. This is a prime time to be smoking and getting high. Children, get off of here. If you're under 18, get off of here, because we talking about drugs. Now, I'm gonna tell you another thing I want to deal with. One day I might come on here and smoke one with y'all. Why not? Maybe. I'll see. I had some brownie though. I had some, cannabis brownie. It was pretty good. I ate it, got high, fell asleep. So I didn't even really go nowhere with that. Do you partake in anything, Cherry? Whiskey? Maybe cherry whiskey, Yeah, I believe in letting loose sometimes. Hanging loose. But you know what? I can just see me going live, smoking one, blowing, and being on live and go to talking to all these spirits that I'll be talking to. Everybody on here would be, man, I'll be talking about, everybody would think I'm crazy. Not no more, you're reformed too. It's 50-50. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to tell y'all about smoke. I'm going to see if I can think about when I smoke, because it happens all the time. As soon as I get high, it's like this world gives way. I don't need no other dope, because this world, I'm still here, but it gives way. And it's, again, like I'm tuned into something. And I hear all kind of things. I hear about the future of the world. So if y'all want to know, other than me being reared by Saturn, have the impact and influence of Uranus upon my life as an Aquarius, oh my, again, when I get high, the universe speaks to me. Various energies speak, and they tell me about the future of the world and humanity, things that have happened like in my culture. But can you catch this one? In my relationships, ain't nobody ever been able to cheat on me, because tell me why they will show me and tell me and give me the whole 411 on whatever's taking place. And it's been happening my whole life. Spirits are touching you. Spirits are touching me. So annoying. I done had that happen too. Weird shit happens normally. Getting high is just playing with fire. Yep, true that. And that's what I said. I said I'm going to stop, because, I mean, what's the use of me getting high, getting this information, and don't nobody listen to me? So I'm the only dummy in the whole world that's going to know what's happening. Ain't nobody else, everybody else going it's going to be to hit them before they realize it. Shot when it happened. But I'm the only dummy that's going to worry too it's happened. Because it don't never really tell me no time period sometime. You know. But yeah, what y'all talking about? You lying in your bed, something touch your left ear, stop. What you talking about, hey Lord? Cherry whiskey, that is true. You got to be prepared for that. Yeah, you don't get to choose who visits you through that's the issue, right? And I'm telling you, it be so much around me. It don't be around me. It's like I be up in a space. That's why I say I be on cloud 99. I done went through 99 and a half clouds visiting everybody, and they like, did you know? And oh my God, when it would tell me like, well, let me tell you about your significant. When they would tell me about my significant other, one time I was so high, I was stuck. And this woman's voice started speaking to me. And I was so high. And I realized when I'm high, a lot of times when I come down, I know it's been saying something to me. I know the overall issue is talking about, but I don't remember the fine details. So this particular time, she was talking so much and giving me the 411 about my significant other cheating on me. So I told her, hold on. I said, let me find a piece of paper and a pencil. I was at his house, and all I could find was like a little, like flyer. I said, hold on. I found a pen and a flyer, and I told her, go ahead. By the time she got done, I had wrote on the front of the flyer, the back of the flyer, rips of paper off something else. So when I came out from that high, I could read everything she told me. And everything she told me was the truth when I did the research. I mean, that's how I get some earful. I was like, I was about to curse, but I ain't going to disrespect the energies that speak to me. They never led me wrong yet. Let's see. I don't know who's touching me. Sometimes I feel orgasms. See, that was that marijuana too. I'm telling you, I'm fat, but when I was smoke marijuana, I'm telling y'all, my body used to go in place. It used to tighten up. I could feel it. Oh, I was shapely. Only thing I do is hit it. And I get real shapely and sexy. But you're talking about somebody touching you. Now, I didn't smoke or anything, but I was in my kitchen 2 days ago washing dishes or something. I had just approached my sink, and I'm washing dishes, and my cat eating out her bowl, and I'm washing dishes, and I don't know what, I was washing dishes, looking out the window, and all of a sudden I felt something yank my dress. I'm to my heart, poof, and right in the back. And I looked down, cat, I could still hear rustling in her bowl. Yank my, and so I turned around. I was like, it wasn't nothing but me and the animals home. And I was like, oh, you mother. And so I started cussing. I'm going to digress because I'm about to start cussing. But I did start cussing. I don't come messing with me up in here because ain't nothing you got to talk about if you ain't putting no money on this counter to pay no bills. Be gone. And I was pissed. And so I turned around and started washing it and yanked me again. I was like, nah, I'm telling you, don't make me mad. I was about to start raising heck up in here. You know what? I wonder about my house, I'm a renter. Every house I've been in is a magnet toward animals. Abused animals in any community that I've lived in make their way to my house, and we will refuse to go with their owners. It got where people would know that their animals came to my house. It was known fact. And in the past, there were people that abused their animals. The animals would wait their way to my home. Like I said, it became common knowledge, just common knowledge wherever I go. But once a person's animals make their way to my house, the people that abuse them in some way won't do it no more. They will not do it anymore. They become afraid. A lot of people are afraid of me and my family and my animals and everything. And then there are also those that are in awe. But you asked about the cats directly. And when it comes to my cats, I talked about it here on YouTube where I have one cat. She's really a real lady. Her name is, I call her Kitty. What the kids say her name is Tiny. I had her about 3 years. I just call her Kitty. But Kitty have spirits in here hemmed up. I'm liable to go out my bedroom door now and find her with a spirit backed into the wall, and she's just staring at it like she's daring it to move. And so, yeah, I think that the cats keep spirits in check around me and my house. And they earn their keep. You know, usually cats are known for earning their keep as far as mice and stuff. That ain't the problem I be having. And yeah, I do think animals see and sense to the spirit on a level that humans do not. And I bring up how the animals come to my house because I think that although I might not get along with humans as well as I would like, again, I'm a witness and a testament to socialization. The positives and negatives are where we are as humanity. But animals, I do get along with, and how can I say this? Because they do have this keen instinct when it comes to the spiritual realm. And so it's like they've been sent as guardians. I would say like they've been sent as guardians for me and my family. And they're always here and they're always at peace. They're part of the family. They got their own couches and they got their own everything. So what's so funny? What's so funny, Gatul? So y'all got me talking about marijuana and drinking. I wish I had something to sip on. I should have got a little something for the evening. It got late. However, I've been trying to keep a somewhat of a clear mind so that I could work my way through this new paradigm shift we just went through. I'm trying to figure out my way how to get over into it, you know. There's a lot of things to come and emerge in the next 7 to 8 years. Are you ready? Are you ready? What are you a witness to? Can either of you identify a main theme in your life, like reoccurring It's like trying to get you to pay attention. If you ever was able to or given the opportunity to really sit back and think about it, it's something that kept reoccurring in your life and you couldn't make sense of it. Another question is, either of you that are here on live have a good relationship history? And I'm not just talking about with like lovers, them two, or partners. I'm talking about socially. Bad relationships. What sign you an Aquarius too, aren't you, Alor? And then you know what? That's another thing why you answer that for me, Lord. Still talking about this new paradigm and the rules that apply. Marijuana is going to be an issue too, because if you pay attention, marijuana, if I'm not mistaken, is illegal on a federal level. But yeah, I thought so. Yeah, January Aquarius, and it's something about Aquariuses and relationships that are, again, we are witnesses and a testifier to relationships, to socialization. But back to the marijuana being an issue, as you see, it's split: federal, illegal, state by state. Marijuana is deemed illegal or legal, and the whole thing regarding, nevertheless, was getting people in trouble is that federal laws trump. So there's going to be more political moves relative to marijuana, cannabis, because of then we got the medical battle thing going on. So it's really about getting it into the hands of maybe more like the pharmaceutical companies, those kind of things. And so it's a lot of things that are going to take place in this new paradigm. Like, for instance, when I'm talking about the marijuana use, it's illegal in the state. I'm just talking about things to watch out for in this new paradigm we in. It's legal in the state, but what about your job that you have? Like, if you work under federal or something like that, well, then it's illegal for you to smoke to have your job. They say it's legal in certain states, but like, what if you work with children or senior citizens? Those kind of things are going to come up. What about even children and senior citizens that are elderly, glaucoma, whatever the case may be, and they select to use cannabis as a health aid, and you're a caregiver. These are things that we're really going to have to deal with in this new paradigm. And you're a caregiver, and if you were to roll them up one, or administer oil, then you could be charged as a drug dealer. Those kind of things. Back to Alor and relationships relative to Aquariuses. The main issue is no reciprocity. Perfect word, Alor. No reciprocity. When it comes to Aquarius, see, I can only speak again from my experiences. That's why I've been asking y'all to come over to Facebook and befriend me so that you can share, so that I can learn. I like to learn. I want to come to understand. That's what I'm trying to do, is how can every relationship that I've ever have usually result in no reciprocity. I am a natural born giver. I have learned to manage my giving, but yet have not yielded any different results. I do have this Leo ascent, and I am grand. And I'm okay with me. Are there changes that I need to make to me, that I may make to me, choose to make to me? Yes, there are, at my whim. Oh, February 1st, another Aquarius. Oh, this is an Aquarius rant. So, how are your relationships? Capitol. Um, you stabbed your heart last year. I'm still alive. I'm happy. Don't stab. Please don't stab your heart. I think you need that. I do. Yeah. And so, when they talk about Aquarius, air signs, but primarily Aquarius, it's talking about learning to manage our emotions. Well, how do you manage your emotions when you deal with so much BS? In Libra here, and Libra, still air, still about association. And for Libra, remember I was talking about the passion that burns within. I think that's the one. It's talking about not losing yourself in another. What does it mean to be in a relationship with another? You having the skills to be able to put your terms and conditions on the table and to see that, to assure that they are addressed by the other person that you're involved with, learning how to balance you between them. You are a witness to that. How contracts are done in this world is what I was trying to say under the new paradigm. You're a witness to that as well as a testifier to it. You tell me, Sherry, what have you learned about relationships? Have you had people that constantly try to seize control of you? Have you met people that kind of drew you in and you may have become codependent on or with? And then what were the results of it? I don't have relationships now. People are afraid of me. Why are they afraid of you? And then as an Aquarius, people are afraid of me. And I can, for various reasons. Some I don't understand. Some I do. Some are cultural. It has to do with my culture. And so they are afraid for various reasons. And so it's just like dealing with all of that it's been absolutely ridiculous. It's disheartening. And then, like I said, moving into this new paradigm, and the rules surrounding the paradigm are loose. It will have a structure. It's not a structure that I agree with. I lost my job because I'm getting high. I fought with my boss. Wow. That's deep. That's one of the questions they asked when I went to the psychiatric place to sign myself up yesterday. They says, has drugs or alcohol ever led you, talking about me, to get into a dispute with another? It also asks, has your alcohol or drug use ever led to people being afraid of you? Oh my God. You a heartbreaker too? Oh, maybe I should try to be her. I'm a heartbreaker too. Well, if you're the heartbreaker, you should go well in the new paradigm. I think that's what it's about, doing you. If you have the ability to do you, then you got one up. You got a point there, a niche for the new paradigm. You over here. Me, I don't know about none of that stuff. I'm still stuck in the family unit thing, and it's not working. It's not working. So I got to figure something out. How can I fit in? How can I fit in? Aquarius is back to the Aquarius energy of yes. I guess I was hearing things. The Aquarius energy of having, bad or rough relationships due to coming to understand it. Why are Aquarius is having bad or people take advantage of my kindness? Very disheartening. Right. And so that is your testimony. Or as Libra, that is your testimony. You are one of many. Universe is like saying, I'm going to make sure that what I find out is not incorrect, nor is it biased. So the majority are ruled. So all Libras are witness to what it means to be with another and interact with them on an intimate level, to make yourself or allow yourself to be vulnerable around them. You testify there. This is you testify that people take advantage of you, of your kindness, and how disheartening it is. Well, that's your report to the universe. So when Saturn came through and looked at Libras testimony, collective testimony. A vote for you saying it's negative. A vote for somebody else to say it's positive. By the time Saturn finished doing his calculations and wrote up the order, it may have read something like this. Libras have reported that people take advantage of them, take advantage of their kindness and how it is disheartening. So with that being said, that Saturn write out an order that say this is the karma for these type of deeds. And what do you think the karma is going to be collectively? Well, and that breaks down. You're so manipulative. So, okay, do you take a pride in that your relationships, I'm so manipulative. Do you take a pride in that? Is it something that you wish to change, or are you okay with it? And if so, why do you do that? I heard Aquarius men can be something special. I heard that before. But again, when you hear me do the tarot readings, I talk about how the energy can be from you or to you. So it is possible that you are a teacher to another, like it's crossing you with crossing you with a Libra, for an example. You would be teaching them about that lesson, you know what I'm saying? So they could come to understand. But at the same time, we're finding out the state of people's soul overall. And I wish people could just come to realize how we are creating our future. Meaning all the ascensions to me is fucked up. I agree. Not laugh, but I agree. I said that. I sat up on the edge of the bed and said, it's all fucked up. It don't matter which one you look at. Don't even matter. And the one I do see, and that I've heard, through the voices I hear when I talk, is that I don't know if we have it in us. When I say we, humanity has it in us to make this place a heavenly state. I don't know. We are intelligent yet fickle-minded. It takes us a long time to make decisions. Aquarius. I think I did January Aquarius, because that's borderlining with Pisces. Closer to Pisces, I'll say. Maybe creating more of an indecisive Aquarius. Yeah, family is not working for me too. Family too. It's still about socialization. Any form of socialization you could think of. You'd have talked about the family. You'd have talked about the boss who behind you they had to kick you off into. So it's still that testimony right there, that the witnessing, the experience, the witnessing, and the testimony that's taking a place for you as well. Yep. Well, as back to Lord, as a Aquarius, a February Aquarius, I have again a lot of Saturn influence and Capricorn. Influence in my my birth chart. Y'all got birth? Have y'all ever had y'all birth charts done? Are all Libras impatient as hell, or is it just me? Libras as impatient. It might be something. That's what I was asking about. Just about to ask about birth charts. Have you ever had your birth chart done? Because your birth chart is it breaks down your continents as a soul incarnated into a physical body. So it's saying, I don't think impatience is truly a characteristic of Libra. I can't pull that up. You can go online and type in birth chart calculator. I like the one it's called, but you got to know the interpretations for that. Cafe Astrology, I think it's called. I think it's called Cafe Astrology, and type in birth charts, and it'll show you your birth chart and give you an interpretation of the information. You have Lilith. I have Lilith in my chart. Have you ever heard of that? Yes. Lilith is where I believe you're fierce, no bars hold. It's about using your feminine energy to exert yourself and your will into the world, that kind of thing. Um, oh yeah, I study the astrology charts considerably. I wish I could get under a real major international guru. That would be amazing. Take me to new heights. New heights. I feel a little stagnated right now. I'm ready to learn. And so I'm trying to be patient, because what I've known in the course of my life over these 48 years is that when it's time for me to move on, the information is always given to me. I'm always prompt. So I ain't just got to be how to be instructed what to do at all. The clue comes up in my reality. But it's just like I'm ready to keep it rolling. It seemed like I wasted a lot of time when I was like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, going to college and all that time. It seemed like it was wasted. I know that it contributes to what I know now, but it seems like a waste. It could have been more condensed or something. That's where I get the heartbreaking. Okay, I see. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That make a whole lot of sense, because that's what she would do. Take control of romantic situations and lead it the way she want to lead it by any means necessary. Well, I've been kicking it with you fine folks. I just wanted to rant a little bit. And so I guess I'll get up off of here. I've been on here an hour and 45 minutes. I really enjoyed y'all. I know one guru, but you need a passport. Well, where is this guru at? Yeah, I wanted to come on. I wanted to see if the live stream was going to malfunction as badly as it did earlier. I wanted to see who I could touch base with. I wanted to share my concerns and talk about the astrological energies that we are up under and bring awareness to what's taking place and why. Again, now I have a real concern. I guess I already got the clue, and it is about, Jamaica. Oh, I would like to go to Jamaica. Maybe. My girlfriend bought that up not too long ago, talking about, I think she's saying cruise to Jamaica or something, which I might. That might be nice. So I keep you in my mind in case I choose to go. I'll reach out to you. But now I may have the clue to where I'm supposed to move toward next. I just don't. I guess haven't gathered all the information relative to it, and it has to do with suicide or suicide prevention. Suicide prevention seems to be an important place. But first, people got to take life seriously, and that's one thing. I'm going to close this video. I want to say this just so that it's recorded, is that my live streams, my channel is pulling very few people. My live streams are pulling even less people. It is probably the dark, heavy messages that I give and deliver. I can't change that because it's the information that I am seeing. And so I'm sharing the truth about what I see. And people don't want to hear it. They want to hear sugar. I can understand that. Me too. Why am I saying this? Because I'm going to wait some time, because I'm really going to have to get the energy from universe that's what it wants me to deal with, is suicide prevention. But it's way too far gone when suicide has happened. And so now what I'm trying to say is I'm seeing this big old gap of dealing with reality. It's from those that don't want to deal with it. They don't want to hear. They want sugar. Empty gap. And then people committing suicide. Maybe. Just maybe. I'm going to see. The next move is to kind of try to close that gap in. But how do you get people to hear the story of humanity, of their own existence, when we're preoccupied with the new paradigm? What's another part of the new paradigm? What do you call them? Reality TV shows, So you think you can dance, or you think you can sing, all these cartoons that are cartoons, but they're geared toward adults. Like one of the cartoons I watched a couple of weeks ago was talking about these demons, these actual demons that I've talked about on my channel. So the kids are, usually the ones that look at the cartoon, but they talking about demons and different stuff like that. It's just crazy. And so people are not taking things seriously. Everything's right in their face, right under their nose. They are not aware of what they are encountering or dealing with or experiencing, or they just don't give a care. And how that is also going to affect us in this world, especially during this paradigm. And then all along, we got people. This is a big issue now. People that are taking their own lives because nobody can hear them, because nobody cares. People are desensitized. That's deep. And how did the desensitization take place? We got to look at the truth. We don't have to. We can do whatever we want. But we got these videos, what's they call, World Star, where they kicking everybody head and banging them in, and people video recording them. We see people that have gotten into bad accidents. Is all on public media platforms and stuff. So we desensitized to that. Back in the old paradigm, you barely saw that kind of stuff. You had to be real time, been enrolled up on it. You got a bad day and bad timing. You seen that stuff. Then in the old paradigm, as we start progressing toward this one, in the hood, you start seeing people murdered and pop right before your eyes. And so overall, people have grown accustomed to seeing gore and violence and death and mutilation. Now they're desensitized. So when your friend or your family member sitting next to you in their own personal hell, you desensitize. Hello, how are you? Is this Key Kwan? Welcome. How you doing? I'm only going to be on here a few more minutes. I was just kind of looking at what messages have been offered to me in the last, I guess it's been about a week. And it has to do with a lot of suicides taking place. And early on, we were talking about the transitions that we are going as people, and the pressures of the world that are compressing or pulsing in on us, and we are conscious of what is taking place, and how there are people that are in hell. And then another thing that's taking place is the flamboyant nature that we many of us have and are displaying. Why? Because we were taught the glitz and glamour. The glitz and glamour, all it means is the glitz and glamour, to be a baller, stripper on a pole, or whatever the case. My stripping days is over. So I could attest to the money, but, it's taking over. It's taking over. All of that is taking over. And so it's a making of a different type of people. Okay, you gonna catch my replay? Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan. Well, what I'm talking about is the making of the people, and who the people have become are what we can say heartless, and hugs and kisses to you as well. Become very heartless, or and empty. It's a word. I'm gonna have to search out the word. Almost like robotic, and not being able to sense, not having the ability to comfort, seeking after stuff. I'm gonna say stuff that won't help them, and that's another component or issue that's being dealt with, or universe is asking us to deal with Uranus and Taurus is, what do you value? What do you value? See, talking back about the glitz and glamour, many people value glitz and glamour, and that's all they care about. And when you get to be numb is a perfect word. People are numb and blind. It's like deaf and dumb, numb and blind. Their heart is wax cold. They say that in the Bible, hearts of wax cold. And why? And see, this is so interesting. These are interesting topics to me. I can't believe that more people don't want to have these discussions to identify what's taking place. See, to the younger generation, it's the norm. But the older generation, like the population that I'm speaking to on my YouTube channel, which is predominantly women, I said 90% early, but 87% of my population is women, and they are between the ages of 35 and 65 and up, of course, and up. And so we have a point of reference back the way it used to be in an old paradigm. The youngsters, many of them don't have it, especially the children born now. And they're being born into and coming from people that are numb. And they are the population of the new paradigm. So you can infer what it will be like to exist in the distant future of this new paradigm. This stuff is serious. And then if I was a person, I would kind of want to know if I seen somebody decapitated or gunshot or heard them committing suicide, why I might not be moved by that. You know, that's not natural. But what I remember, I learned in psychology that there are people that lack emotions or what's the word? Empathy. They lack empathy, and they just can't feel naturally. They all speak the power of positivity, all of them. The power of positivity, but never acknowledge the negative in front of them neither. And that is a strange phenomenon. I happy you brought that up, Cherry Whiskey, because everybody speaks positive and happy. I'm not per se a negative person. I know it comes across as that, but all I'm doing is reporting what I'm finding in astrology that is showing the state of the humanitarian soul, the collective consciousness. So I'm not picking up nor seeing any information about the power of positivity. That's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the dark side. And remember, I was saying earlier in the live stream, I read in the stars a few weeks ago through the interpretation. Now, you can interpret the stars in various ways. But I never know what I'm going to find when I'm interpreting. But I was saying that I found, it seems like something that was saying, in 7 to 8 years, we will not recognize this world. It will have a beautiful facade, a facade that is familiar to you. You know, this place, this world it seems beautiful, but the undertone, the spirit within this place, in this realm, would be dark. And that's what you're talking about right there, Sherry, is the positive, the power of positivity. The power of positivity would be the facade, the face. Oh, it's positive, it's happy, but it's the undertone, it's the root, it's the skeleton of existence of the life that is negative, is dark, is grimy. It is destructive to man physically and a soul. And that's what people are missing. They are missing it. And that's one of my pet peeve, that we are so into that positive. How it can look positive, but if you're not really being positive, if you don't feel positive, if you don't feel healthy on the inside, if you're not happy, if your cup don't run over, when your cup runneth over, that means you got some more for others. You know, if you don't understand what wealth is, all of these imbalances, you're really not positive. So all of it is a fake. It's a facade. And we are going to perpetuate that facade, in the new paradigm. Shut your mouth. That's where we're headed at, folks. That's where we're headed at. And it is scary. And the biggest, scariest part about it is we won't be able to see it, because we're going to be looking at a beautiful facade. The wool, the rug is going to be pulled from up under our feet. It may take a decade before people really see where they are, or the beast that they're within, or the beast they themselves have created. But here I am. And there are other people on YouTube that are warning people, or not warning, but it's warning, but making people aware that we have the power to really be positive, to make the undertone or the root positive. But nobody's listening. Why? Because they're numb. That's scary. They're numb. Even my children that I raised, that came out my womb, are numb. That's real scary. And I often wonder, how can they be numb? And that's when I have to go back to my religious studies. One day I was sitting up like, who are these strangers? They were aliens to me. I was looking at them like, I don't know where y'all come from. Somebody switched y'all at birth. I don't know what's going on. I was so upset. And all of a sudden this scripture, when I was in church, came back up, and it was saying in the, how was it saying? Oh, in the final days, how the children would be, there'd be the mother against the daughter, the father against the son. I don't know what religious doctrine you study from, or text, or if any, but it was just saying how people would be, there'll be wars and rumors of wars and just people against each other. And when that scripture popped up in my head, I said, well, wow, who am I? This was predicted, foreseen. How many ever hundreds of years or thousands of years it's been since that book was written, you know? And so it's just coming to understand. And I find it interesting that all of this was foreseen and known. It almost seems like, when I say it, I was talking about the Bible, the King James Version was a blueprint to the destruction of humanity. And if humanity wanted to save itself at any time, it can still. All of the evidence does reside. That's another thing. I don't know where I'm going next, because another thing came up to me. You know, I was talking about when I'm talking and I'm smoking and the spirit's talking, something else came to me. I wasn't smoking and talking and stuff, but something came to me. And it was about all the knowledge that has been accumulated down through the centuries. And I'm talking about the hieroglyphics on the walls. I'm talking about the stone tablets. I'm talking about everything on, what do you call it? On scrolls and cave paintings and everything. It almost seems like every single generation, or what is it? That's greater than a generation. But like they were leaving information. People are archaeologists find this stuff and go to interpret it across the borders, whether it's the Mayans, the what they call them, the Hobis, or it don't matter who it was, across the border, don't matter what culture, all the messages they left was the same. Like, this is what it is. We letting you know now. It almost seemed like it's saying we keep reincarnating and back into this mother sucker. Here's the information you need to know in order to hurry up and rectify the situation and end this chain of events, is what I'm picking up. But yet we aren't seeing it. And right now we're not acknowledging it for one reason or another. I don't know if it's because of our political setup, our governmental setup, or is it some spiritual stuff, or is it the both of them working together? And that's kind of what I'm in search of now. Why is our memory suppressed? If you follow me here on YouTube, you also heard me talk about the forgetfulness, and the forgetfulness was talked about in the Apocrypha, the hidden books that weren't included in the Bibles or anything. Separate text, they talked about forgetfulness, and I already knew there was something to forgetfulness from giving a natural birth and the chemical that's released at the time that the placenta is delivered. There is a release, a hormonal release within the mom that affects the mom and the baby, and you forget. the extent of the pain. You forget that you're near death when you have a baby. But when that chemical is released, it again it kind of washes over or hazes the reality and the seriousness or the severity of childbirth. And the child themselves, I think, is infused with that same chemical. They didn't bask in the mama for 9 months, 10 months, and we forget where we come from and the purpose. But when people get into this realm and they begin to remember, they begin to script. First, we couldn't do it because why? We didn't have language. So a mother sucker said, well, we got to learn, we got to figure something out. So motherfuckers started scribbling on the cave wall saying this happened here, drawing a picture. And over time, we developed language in order to leave clues and information to what had been taking place and the purposes and the reasons that people were finding. And so that we could rectify this situation. We have not rectified the situation and are moving, plummeting into the next dimension, the next paradigm. But again, I'm just rambling. This is an Aquarius rant because I had some concerns, for myself and for us at large. So I'm gonna let y'all go. I really enjoyed this 2 hour and 4 minute live stream. Hopefully soon and very soon. Let me ask y'all a question. I want to take a poll. I was interested in having an adult live stream in which I block out the use and we can talk sex, love, and magic. Would anyone be interested in that kind of live stream? Would you be comfortable enough to share? Detected your stream quality may be affected. I know it. So yes, with that yes on the board, I'm gonna get off of here because this live stream stuff starting to mess up again.